And now that we got everybody up over the waterfall, it was time to press on. This trail had a lot more to throw at us, and we were anxious to see what was next.
You're going to ride a boulder on this side. Yep. Yep. So then it kink back over here.
Now those of us who have wheeled in the desert outside of Nevada, California, Utah, know that the temperatures in the desert can get upwards of 120 degrees. Today was no exception, and I wanted to point out that Chris, who's been spotting us all along, has been a real trooper considering he was just visiting for the weekend from the great state of Maine up in northern New England. And as a northerner, fairly certain they never see temperatures above 90, so it was a little warm for him. Now, although the whole group decided to go around this boulder, Stephen was the one who decided he needed to try to go over it. Loved the determination, though. Knew that eventually he would make it. Now, once we were over that and heading down, we had a little bit of a breather where we can get some fresh air through the Jeeps. The thing about this trail in Odessa, however, is it's not very long, and we knew from the research that there were 4 major obstacles, so before we knew it, we rounded the corner and came upon obstacle number 3. As we had done our research ahead of time, we had noticed that this particular obstacle had multiple different names given to it. Despite the multiple options, we're going with the name Wall Street, mainly because it looked like walls on both sides of this canyon, and the width of this was only slightly wider than the Jeeps themselves. Yes, it used to be paved, but it isn't anymore, and it's a lot more off-camber than the camera shows. Although it wasn't much of an incline, the real danger here is slipping, sliding to the left. The camera doesn't show it as well as I had hoped, but the off-camber can push your Jeep straight into the wall, and that's the challenge on this particular obstacle. But taking it slow does make a difference, as we managed to make it straight through with no real issues, no scratches, no dings. I was actually pretty proud. wheels start to spin, the Jeep slides naturally downhill, which, as you can see, is going to be towards the wall on the left. And it's definitely a scary feeling when you start sliding towards an immovable object like a wall. The psychological impact here from the driver's seat of feeling like you're right up against the wall is actually the part of this obstacle that is very difficult to get past. And Mike was a little nervous after the last one, but he's been a real trooper, and don't worry, he's got plenty of room, so we're going to get him through. Okay, so with the temperatures pushing almost 118 degrees, it might seem absolutely ludicrous to have the top off or the doors off on the Jeep and not be utilizing the air conditioning. However, when we watched the videos ahead of time for this particular trail, this obstacle caught Tammy's attention, and she was really worried that they were going to smack the top of the Jeep up against the wall on the left, so they chose to endure the heat, take the top off, so that they can make it through this trail without actually doing any damage. Some people may say it's crazy. I thought it was a smart idea. But then again, we've had our top and our doors off all summer throughout this heat in the desert, so maybe we're the ones that are crazy. Well, we successfully got everybody through that tight little canyon, so it's on to the next one. We did stop and take a little break though, because we knew what we were in for. And trust me folks, the next little thing we gotta do is certainly gonna make you pucker. Now for the final obstacle on the Odessa Canyon Trail, we come to Pucker Pass. The reason they call it this, folks, is from the driver's seat, that's pretty much exactly what you're doing. Sucking the seat cushion in as you hope you make it over this without flipping your Jeep down to the left. The area right in front of Tammy's Jeep is narrower than the Jeep itself, thanks to a bunch of washouts over the years. So ultimately, you need to make sure that gas pedal's your friend, as your left tire's going to slip down and the Jeep's going to feel like it's going to flip. So you need to just goose it through and get to the other side quickly. Let's see how everybody does. Some people think it's an advantage being the first one to go over a new obstacle. Other people think that's not true. I'll leave that up to you. However, if you listen closely, you can actually hear my opinion yelling at Chris trying to get over this.
No.
me to turn left. What is he, insane?
Oh my God! No! Oh shit!
Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. You got it.
Oh my God!
Right in that wall.
Oh yeah, that will make you pucker for sure. So the next one to give this a shot is Scott. Now he didn't seem all that scared of it, but I can tell you, Tammy decided not to ride through this one. Now this camera angle probably isn't the best to show exactly what this feels like, but I wanted to point out that where that left front tire is right now, it actually drops straight down on the side of this wash. But what makes this the pucker factor is that the wall on the right, you actually have to put the passenger side tires on that wall, riding it to get over this, which forces your Jeep to lean towards the driver's side, and that's what makes it intense and why they call it Pucker Pass. Why does he always make everything look so easy peasy and just walking over it? Good job, Scott. Let's see who's next. After watching me and Scott walk right over this particular obstacle, Steven decided to try it a different way. Nope, don't think so. Well, I mean, he had to try, but there really is only one way over Pucker Pass. Well, that was close. Glad Chris moved out of the way. One more Jeep and then everybody can rest a little bit and cool off before we make our turnaround to head back down this mountain.
Okay, so what you don't see on the camera is that's about a 15-foot drop. That's why that was a little scary.
So we really thought that that trail on Odessa Canyon was going to be a lot harder on the Jeeps than it was, but we're glad we made it through. Now we needed a break and some shade, and anybody who's ever wheeled in the desert will tell you that finding shade sometimes can be very difficult, but scouting out, we found a cliffside that the sun was just on the other side of, so we stopped to get some rest, some food, before we head back down the other side of this mountain. Wheeling in the desert with the temperatures up over 120 degrees can take a lot out of you. Even eating some lunch and drinking plenty of water, we were still tired and actually ready to call it a day. So, in looking at the map and the GPS coordinates, we decided to find a shortcut, quote unquote, to get off the mountain and back onto the main road. But as I'm sure we should have expected, it wasn't going to be that easy, as we had one more challenge to conquer. So the final challenge was known only as the drop. I will tell you from experience, we find it a lot easier to climb up and over little waterfalls like this. Coming down them, you feel like you don't have nearly as much control as you do going up, and it can get a little scary from the driver's seat. Now, although coming up the Odessa Canyon Trail, we had a few bumps and bruises along the way, we didn't really smack as much underneath as we anticipated we were going to. However, here is where we really wish every one of us had some underbelly skid plating and some protection from this little drop. In fact, after this, I'm pretty sure all 4 Jeeps had some pretty serious dents, dings, and bruises when it came to our frames and our underbellies, just trying to get down this drop. Well, gravity is certainly a factor in this particular challenge, and most of the time, especially when it comes to trails in a 5,000-pound machine, gravity sucks. But we all made it down safe and sound, and I think we all agreed that this final obstacle was a great way to end our trip to the Calico Mountain Range just outside of Barstow, California.
Well, going theory right now is bleed. If we can get them bled, and if there's any air or anything in the lines, maybe I can get my brake pedal back. Not exactly sure what we did. I'm sure it had something to do with playing with this thing this weekend, but either way, without any brakes, driving down the highway is a little on the dangerous side. So unfortunately, this was a necessary stop.
Did we get it?
I have a pedal, but time will tell. We'll get up on the highway and see if I still have a pedal. You know what I mean? If I pump it up, I can get a pedal back. There's no air in the lines, and it's bleeding perfectly. So the only thing that would make sense at this point is an internal leak between the master cylinder and the booster. So I'm thinking master cylinder for the brakes, master cylinder for the clutch, new brake booster, all new fluid, complete brake flush. And if this still gives me hydraulic issues, we trade it in for a JL and we start all over.
Nice JL in your showroom.
Right? Exactly. And we just start all over.